Yo, what is up, YouTube? Today, I've gone through my entire fragrance collection and I've picked out my top 5 favorite cheap clone fragrances. So, all of these, I believe, are like $35 and less. I think I even have like two that are like 20 some, so really cheap, and they're all clones. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. First up on the list, one of my more recent pickups. I've had this for about a month now. This is going to be Aromatix's Royal Taboo. So this is the line that he did with French Avenue. I got Royal Taboo basically because I was on Joma Shop and this one popped up on sale for 25 bucks. So I was like, oh, that's a good deal. But normally I think it's like 30. I think right now I think I've seen it for 29.99. So still cheap. And let me tell you, for the price, this stuff is an absolute banger. Now, this is a clone of Creed Centaurus, and I'll be completely upfront and honest. Like, I do not own Creed Centaurus, and honestly, I've never even smelled Creed Centaurus. So, I'm not gonna lie, and act like I can tell you this is a good clone. I'm not gonna speak on how good of a clone it is. I've heard it's close, but I'm just gonna speak on this individual fragrance. It's basically cinnamon and leather is like the main two accords I get out of this. I think once it dries down, it gets a little more leathery masculinity. Masculinity, not a word. Masculinity, whatever. It's masculine, but still a little bit sweet with that cinnamon. But let me tell you, if you're watching this and you're a younger guy, like high school age maybe, I don't know if I'd recommend this, as this is not the most youthful of scents. Now, it's very masculine, but not old man smell. I don't really like fragrances that give off that kind of old manny. I don't know what notes even do that, to be quite honest with you. But this is the cinnamon is what gives it a bit of youthfulness, a bit of sweetness, but it's still super super masculine. So if you're in you want to smell like a man, you know what I'm saying, but you still want a little bit of sweetness, the cinnamon in this is perfectly blended. This has so much depth and complexity to it for cheap fragrance. Like, there's a lot going on, and you smell, it's like a niche smell. It's cloning Creed Centaurus, so it's not like something you'd smell at like Sephora. It's not like designery, so maybe not the safest blind buy with this one. I have a couple in this video that are pretty safe blind buys. This one, not the safest, but if you're into niche, slightly different wintry smells, I would recommend this. You're looking for a different smell. I've never really smelled anything that smells like this, so I would highly recommend French Avenue's Aromatix's line Royal Taboo if you're into stuff like that. Next up on the list, I got a cheapie. Now, this one is not exactly what you would call a strictly winter fragrance, but I think it's great for wintertime. This is going to be Lataffa's Jasoor. Now, this is a clone of Valentino's Coral Fantasy, and not a perfect clone. I'd say it's like 80% close. I will say I like Coral Fantasy better, but this stuff is still super, super good and also super cheap. I think I got mine for like $22. I want to say I got mine for. So for the price, it's great, and honestly, it smells amazing. Okay, the one downfall with this is, okay, well, two downfalls. First downfall is this bottle is atrocious. I don't know what Lataffa was doing when they cooked this up, but like, it's terrible. Like, the liquid goes all the way up there. I don't know what they're doing. And then the lid is just like cheap plastic feeling. It's just got like random motivational words on it. I have no idea what they were doing with the bottle, but the smell is actually really good. Right now, when you first spray it, you get a big blast of apple. Like, it almost reminds me of Aetheric Straight, almost a little bit of that. You get that big blast of green apple, but once this stuff starts drying, the tobacco really comes out. And I've recently got more into tobacco fragrances, but this is probably my favorite tobacco fragrance DNA, and that's over Naxos too, which is kind of crazy. And I'm speaking more to Coral Fantasy, not saying I'd rather Lataffa Jasoor to Xerjoff Naxos. I'm not saying that, but I think this is done so well that it takes tobacco and makes it a beautiful smell, but it's not like an old man masculine smell. I think you could rock this at any age and it's so good. I almost would say a woman could rock this, and that's like almost non-existent for tobacco, you know. But like, it's so fresh with the apple. Now, when it dries down, like I said, it gets a little less fresh the more tobacco comes out, but it's great. The scent on this stuff is awesome. The two downfalls are the performance and the bottle. Performance, you're looking at like 6 hours. After 6 hours, it's going to be pretty much dead skin scent. You know, and you're only going to project for maybe an hour or two, really project, but you got to overspray it a little bit. You know, it's not exactly a strong performer at all. It's not terrible. I think after it macerated, I've had mine for close to like a year. I think I got this around when it came out, I want to say. Um, it got a little better after that, but you know, it's not great. But for 20 bucks, like spray it on, you'll get a good 4 or 5 hours smelling good, smelling like it. Great deal. So lataffa jasoor, I'd highly recommend. Next up on the list, this one is slept on in my opinion. Armaf's CheckMate King. So this one, when it came out, I like chess, and this came out in like December 2024, I want to say. When I first seen it, I was like, I gotta buy that. I didn't know nothing about the scent. I just thought the bottle was cool, you know, the whole lid being a chess piece. Some people would probably say this is tacky, but I like it. But the this is cloning Jean-Paul Gaultier's Scandal Absolute, which, yes, they made Mandarin Sky, but that's cloning Jean-Paul's Scandal. This is Scandal Absolute, which is a different fragrance. This is more suited for wintertime, in my opinion. Now, just like Lataffa Jasoor, you can rock this other times. These aren't strictly winter fragrances, but I think this really shines in the winter, you know? It's fruity, but powdery. It's like a powdery little bit of spice, but you get the main, I think it's pear, I think is kind of the main fruit you get off of this, but it's like, it's got a powdery to it that I love. It's not as powdery as like a Dior Homme type smell, but it's really good. And honestly, this, I never really see people putting this in like any of their list or nothing. And I don't know why, because it's a amazing clone of the original. You know, it does the DNA so well. It performs great. You know, you'll get a solid 8 to 10 hours out of this before it dies out. You know, get a good solid couple hours of projecting. And yeah, I mean, compliment beast. It's everything you want in a fragrance, and it's got a, in my opinion, a super cool bottle. I mean, if you like chess, you gotta have it. So that's Armaf's CheckMate King. Next up on the list, now this one not as slept on, a much more popular one, but this is going to be Supremacy Collector's Edition from Offnon. Now this, if you are a man, if you're a man and you enjoy fragrance, I think you have to have this. If you don't have Creed Absolute Aventus, which is understandable because Creed Absolute Aventus is like, what, $400 for a bottle? So this right here, like 35 for $40, definitely worth it. I think the bottle is sweet too. It's like a concrete looking bottle. Uh, but yeah, it's a, again, I don't own Absolute Aventus, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you how good of a clone it is to the original scent. I've heard it's pretty good, but as its own fragrance, it's great. This is fruity, but still has that masculinity that Aventus has. You get a little bit of that smokiness Aventus has. Not a lot. You know, this is more fruity than, this is like, to me, it's like if you took Aventus and just threw a bunch of other fruits in there, not just the pineapple, you know? And it's a pretty safe blind buy, in my opinion, you know, and it comes in this super cool box. I don't have it, but it had like all the notes printed out on the box and stuff. It was super cool presentation, super cool bottle. Performance is great. It's like 35 bucks, I think it is. Definitely one of the best Aventus clones, absolute Aventus clones. There's a couple other ones I've heard that are good. That Pursue one from Offnon or Armaf. Yeah, it's like that black skinny bottle. That one I've heard a lot of people say good things about, but when I was looking into clones for it, this was the one that most people say good about, and I don't regret it at all. This is great. Pretty safe blind buy. So if you don't have it already, I would highly recommend you get Offnon Supremacy Collector's Edition. Now, last on the list, this list was not in a particular order, but this is my favorite fragrance on the list. And unfortunately, It's probably not a new discovery for you. I tried to throw some new ones in here that aren't as popular, but this one is popular. This is going to be Liquid Brun. This is here because it is probably my favorite, one of my favorite scents of all time. Now, yes, that means that Altair is one of my favorite scents of all time. Yes, and this has a clone to Altair. I do have a decant of Altair. I've smelled Altair, I've worn Altair. This is a really good clone, in my opinion. The performance on this, I think this performance gets overhyped. I've seen people say it lasts them like 10 to 12 hours. Mine is not doing that. I'm like a couple hours of projecting. Then after that, after like 7 to 8 hours, it's kind of dead. You know, maybe just lingers on your skin. But so 7 to 8 hours. But Liquid Brun smells absolutely amazing. If you don't have this and you don't have Altair and you don't have an Altair clone and you never smelled it, you should probably get it. It's woodsy vanilla. It's the best way I can explain it, and it's like this is one of the like this is so good in my opinion, and it has so much depth to it for like a $30 fragrance. They cloned the original scent so well, and this is done so well. The scent is absolutely beautiful. So if you don't have this, you should probably get it. It's $29.99 off Joma Shop right now. And I would highly recommend you pick it up. And that is going to be it from me today. If you watched it all and you enjoyed, please like, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.